Hello everybody, in today's video we're going to be going over some very cold air which is going to be pushing towards the eastern United States over the next couple of days. We're going to go about 7 or 8 days out in time and take a look at the very cold air which is going to be impacting much of the eastern United States, and we're already seeing frost and freezes over parts of the Midwest, the Great Lakes, and parts of the Northeast there. So we definitely have a lot to talk about in today's video, so let's get right into it. So before we do get into all the cold weather, I do want to announce that I will be doing a special 1,000 subscribers Q&A and shout out video. So if you have any comments for me or questions, definitely leave them down below. Or if you want to shout out, just let me know down in the comments, and I'll be sure to shout you out in the video. So this is how you can enter it to get your question into the video, and I'll answer it in the video. And also, if you want to shout out, just let me know in the comments, and I'll shout you out at the end of that video. So here are all the directions, and also I'll put another set of directions in the comment section. So the more questions I get, the better, and I'll be answering all of those whenever I hit 1,000, and I'll upload that video when I do hit 1,000. So let's get right into it here. Let's start off with your current National Weather Service page. We have frost and freeze warnings and watches, or actually frost advisories, freeze warnings, in effect for parts of the Great Lakes and also into the Northeast, and this is really expanded. We now see it for parts of central Wisconsin. Freeze warnings for northern Michigan there, southern half of Michigan, northern Indiana, northwestern Ohio. They're under some frost advisories. We also see some frost advisories for parts of Pennsylvania, West Virginia, Maryland, into much of upstate New York, into parts of western New England, also into northern New England. We see some frost advisories, and then some more freeze warnings in effect for parts of Pennsylvania, upstate New York, and then into parts of northern upstate New York, as well as northern New Hampshire and northwestern Maine there. So definitely a lot going on in terms of the cold air. We currently have some coastal flood advisories for parts of New Jersey, Delaware, and Maryland, as well as for parts of Florida and into parts of Louisiana there. We also have some red flag warnings in effect for much of the western United States and really the interior western United States. Smoke advisories for central California, eastern Colorado, and into much of the Northwest. And we also have a really big storm just churning out over to the or to the west of the Pacific Northwest, and that will be delivering quite a bit of rain, I would say probably an inch or so of rainfall to some of these areas. So that's why we have some flood watches in effect for parts of Oregon right there. So let's get right into it here. Let's start off with your hurricane map, and I just wanted to point this out because we are actually onto the Greek alphabet. We have Wilfred right here, and you might not even be able to see this. I definitely, it took me a while to notice this while I was looking at this map. We actually have Alpha, which is currently west of Spain, and I'm very surprised that they actually named this, but that means that we have our first name in the Greek alphabet, the earliest we've ever gotten to the first letter in the Greek alphabet. So the earliest that we've ever gotten to Alpha. We also have Tropical Depression 22 here, which is most likely going to become our next named storm. And then we have two areas to watch: one coming out of the North Atlantic and one coming off of Africa. So really, this hurricane season is really not slowing down. And then we see Category 4 Teddy, which I believe it's a Category 4. It might be a high-end Category 3 by this point. Now, here would be your 6 to 10 day outlook from the Climate Prediction Center, actually. And for the south central and the southeastern United States, some of that cooler weather, and then for much of the northern and also much of the western 2/3 of the country, we're looking at some much warmer than normal temperatures for the next 6 to 10 days. But this big cool down, especially for the north central, the Great Lakes, and the Northeast, and for the entire eastern United States as a whole, is going to be coming within the next, I would say, 1 to 8 days. So it's going to be kind of cut off here. The 6 to 10 day outlook really doesn't give this cool down justice. Now here is the 8 to 14 day outlook, and we're looking at warmer conditions kind of transitioning further to the east, while you still have some cold air over to the south. Now, Here would be, let's start looking at the temperature anomaly map. We're going to start off with the European ensemble model, and this is the 2 meter temperature anomalies, and then we'll look at the daily low temperatures for every single day. Here would be by tomorrow morning, and we're looking at anywhere in those greens, that's between 4 and about 7.5 degrees Celsius below normal, which is between 8 and 15 degrees Fahrenheit below normal. If you get into the purples, that's where you're getting between, I would say, 15 and about 25 degrees Fahrenheit below what is typical for this time of year. And if you're in those lighter blues, the darker blues, that's where we're going in anywhere between 1 and about 8 degrees below normal in Fahrenheit. So this is kind of how you can read this map. We have warmer than normal conditions for the west. We have cooler than normal conditions for the east, and especially the northeastern quadrant of the United States. Now here would be what that looks like in terms of your low temperatures, and we're looking at some 30s, which would be frost and freezes for much of the interior northeast, and also for parts of the northern Great Lakes there, where you already have those frost and freeze warnings in effect. Now, here is your 2 meter temperatures for Sunday morning, the 20th of September, and we're looking at that persisting, but it is kind of nosediving further to the south, and we see the heart of the cold air over just interior of the coastal regions, where over the interior northeast and mid-Atlantic, we have some of those 15-degree below normal Fahrenheit temperatures popping up, and this is what that equates to in terms of your low temperatures, and we're looking at still frost and freezes over parts of northern Maine, much of New Hampshire and Vermont, and then all the way down through parts of upstate New York into central Pennsylvania and down the Appalachian Mountains. Surrounding that, we have 30s and 40s for much of the Great Lakes and also the coastal regions of the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic. Now, here would be by Monday morning, the 21st of September, and we're seeing that cold air still nosediving further to the south. So we are seeing quite a bit of cold air, and that would again still be for the interior portions of the eastern United States. So as you get just inland of the coast, that's where you're going to see the coldest temperatures for Monday morning. Now here's what that looks like in terms of your actual temperatures. Parts of the Appalachian Mountains, and again through parts of Pennsylvania, upstate New York, New England, and into parts of especially northern New England, where you're going to see frost and freezes take place. Just so that you guys know, if you are in the kind of that white, that is between about 40 and about, I would say, 32 degrees Fahrenheit. And if you're in that red or almost a pink, that's where you're under 32 degrees. So that's where the really cold air is. And if you're in those kind of just vibrant blues, but it's not the whites at that point, it's between about 50 and 40 degrees. And if you're in the darker blues, that's where you're between 50 and 60 degrees. Of course, the yellows and the oranges, where you're getting to the 60s and 70s. Now, let's start moving on here. This would be by Tuesday morning, and we're looking at the heart of the cold really over the southeast coastal states. So from Virginia southward into South Carolina and Georgia, that's where the heart of the cold air is going to be for Tuesday morning. Here's what that looks like in terms of your low temperatures, and we're seeing 45 degrees and below all the way down into parts of Virginia and North Carolina, and then spiking up throughout the eastern United States. And those frost and freezes a little bit less widespread, but we still do see them for parts of the Appalachians, and also still for upstate New York into Maine, New Hampshire, even parts of Massachusetts there, and much of the state of Vermont. Now, here would be for Wednesday morning and for the southeast, we're really dealing with quite a bit of cold air. Here's what that looks like in terms of your low temperatures, and we're looking at still some very, very cold conditions, but they're just not as cold as they were before. Many temperatures bottoming out around 50 degrees Fahrenheit along the east coast. Now, here would be for Thursday morning. And this is gonna be one of the last frames that we look at here, and we see for parts of the southeast, we're looking at quite a bit of cold air. Now, still those below normal temperatures still lingering again for the southeast, and now moving into the south central United States. And then here would be for Thursday your low temperatures, your actual low temperatures, and we're looking at temperatures backing down a little bit, still into the middle 50s, and as you get further to the north, you're starting to get into the lower 50s, 40s, and over the interior and northeast, probably a couple of lower 40s and maybe upper 30s, but still, it's not going to be as cold as it was before. Now, let's start looking a little bit further out. We do see a big warm up, especially over much of the country, except for parts of, I would say, probably this area doesn't see too much of a cool down over the next few weeks, but this would be 360 hours out. Just to give you an idea, this would be by October 3rd, and we're looking at still the cold air really coming back. And this is an ensemble model, collection of about 40 models. So if they're showing this, that really means that they have great certainty within the 40 models that we're going to see some sort of cold air dip down back into early October. So you will see a big warm up, especially over much of the western and also stretching into the northern and northeastern United States as we get into late September. But then we will most likely rebound with some much cooler than normal conditions as we get into early October. So that is going to wrap it up for today's video. Again, if you want to, you can enter that Q&A, and also if you want a shout out, I'll most likely reserve the shout outs to people who have content on their channel. So if you guys make videos, I'll most likely shout out those people before the people who have, of course, no content on their channel. But still, I'll be giving you guys a shout out in the 1,000 subscriber video. And also, if you have any questions, I'll definitely do a Q&A also in that video. So any questions, they don't have to be weather related at all. So just any questions you have, leave them down below, and I'll answer them in the Q&A video. So anyways, that is going to wrap it up for today's video. Please consider liking the video, subscribing, and turning on notifications, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.